Greetings citizens of the interweb, it's Matt here from Hydro Gaming this week to present a new video showcasing our single-player medieval fantasy RPG that we're creating using the power of the Unreal Engine. Today's episode will cover the highly anticipated UI redesign, the new main menu and theme song, the saving and loading system, a new biome, and the in-game waiting system. In addition, you may notice a new skills menu that I've added to the game. Remember way back when I said I was trying to create a leveling system that blends Skyrim and RuneScape together? Well, that's just about done and we're going to be featuring it in today's episode. Also, before we start, I've had a few people ask if guns are still in the game, most recently asked by viewer Yum. Thank you for your question, and to answer your question, yes they are. I'll be addressing guns in greater detail in the next episode, but for now, the way guns work in the game is just like bows. They use the ranged slot and their ammo uses the ranged ammo slot. So pop them into your slots and equip them the same way you would any other weapon. Alright, moving on. Roll the intro. Alright, it's finally done. I tried to make everything as easy to read as possible, making sure there was lots of contrast between the font and the backgrounds. Speaking of font, yes, I finally updated it. I changed it to something big, bold, and easy to read. I tried to maintain the simplistic UI design to avoid having any confusion during play. This took a lot longer than I would have thought, mainly because I had to manually go through and change the icon for every single inventory item, which was about as dry as it sounds. I'm also working on a new menu section for character skills. This is where that new leveling system comes into play. So, as I said before, it's kind of a cross between the leveling system in Skyrim and the system in RuneScape. So the way it works is that the character has a bunch of different skills that level up as the player uses them, like melee combat, magic, ranged, agility, mining, woodcutting, speech, and crafting. For the sake of simplicity, I'll show off the skills that I can quickly use here. So, first and foremost, agility levels up as you run and jump around the game world, just like a combined version of acrobatics and athletics from Oblivion. As you can see, earning experience and leveling up any of your skills will also earn you experience in your overall player level. Sort of like Skyrim, except in Skyrim, you only earned progress toward your next player level up by actually leveling up skills. In Knightwatch, each time you earn experience in a skill, you'll earn overall experience as well, just to a lesser degree. So every bit of unique skill experience also contributes to your overall level. Mining is pretty self-explanatory. You mine, and it gives you different types of stones, metals, and gems that you can sell or use for crafting. Same thing with woodcutting, except you get wood instead of stone, metal, and gems. These skills feed directly into the crafting skill, which levels up when you make items using your harvested materials. Speech increases when you buy or sell items or pass speech checks. The higher level your speech, the better prices are, and the better chance you have for passing speech checks. The rest are just combat skills, so pretty self-explanatory. In the meantime, I'm working on a companion system and a taming skill, but those are very much a work in progress. So you can view your skills and overall level from the pause menu. This menu is definitely a work in progress as well. It's basically just the gameplay overlay. Speaking of the gameplay overlay, you can pull it up at any point to monitor your level progression without having to pause the game. Something I love in RuneScape because the gameplay doesn't have to stop. I'm sure you can probably see the resemblance. So let's talk about the progression system as a whole. So the way it works is, 1. You level up individual skills which give you passive buffs to activities related to each skill. Like a higher mining level will get you more resources for mining. Leveling up these skills will increase your overall level, which earns you upgrade points. In addition, discovering new areas and completing quests will also contribute to your overall level. You use upgrade points to purchase buffs to your character like increases to health, stamina, magicka, weapon damage, etc. In addition to the buffs you get from buying them with points, there are also certain buffs that can only be earned by reaching level milestones with each skill and cannot be purchased with skill points. Certain buffs, armor pieces, and weapons have character level or skill level requirements, which feeds back into leveling up individual skills. And that is the progression loop in Knightwatch. You'll probably notice that stuff levels up pretty quick here in the background footage, but yeah, that's just for testing. I've boosted the amount of XP that certain actions give you by quite a bit. I, for one, prefer a bit of a grind, just like you would find in RuneScape, so yeah, be ready for that. So I figure for this one, there are probably two schools of thought in the audience. Half of you are probably thinking, oh, no big deal, it's just saving and loading. Should be easy enough to add. And the other half of you with experience in implementing saving and loading systems are saying something along the lines of, rest in peace, or why the hell did you wait until the game is almost done to add a save system? Well, the truth is I kind of forgot.
Danny kind of forgot about
making a save system for Knightwatch.
She forgot? She forgot? She forgot?
If you're planning on making your own video game at some point, this is a system you need to implement as soon as possible. Save systems are an absolute nightmare to implement in any game, and as far as I know, there's no one-stop solution to just have everything in your game save and load without a whole ton of work. You have to individually code each variable in your game to save its value when you click the save button. Sounds simple enough, right?
Wrong!
If you're making an open world RPG like I am, you have to save the amount of money you have, the items you have, each piece of armor you're wearing, each weapon, what quests you've completed, what dungeons you've cleared, what level each of your individual stats are, and how much XP you have in each one. Basically anything that you want to maintain between saving and loading, you have to individually save. And you know what the worst part is? This is only half the battle. You have to be able to load each one of these variables as well when you load your save.
No.
In an open world RPG, there can be dozens, in some cases even hundreds of variables that need to be saved and loaded, and if you're waiting until the last minute to implement a save and load system like I did, chances are you're gonna miss a few. This chapter is pretty straightforward, so I'm going to rely on past Matt to explain the new biome. And I've created a whole new biome inspired by the fields outside of Whiterun in Skyrim. The one with the rolling gold fields where you fight the first dragon, you know the one. As you can see, once again we're taking inspiration from Bethesda games. You know what though? I feel like there are worse games you could take inspiration from. And hey, Knightwatch has something that no Bethesda games have. Something truly amazing. Ladders. I added ladders. Speaking of systems taken from Bethesda games, I finally finished up the waiting system. Now, I can't take all the credit for this one, the baseline for this system is from the Complete RPG pack by Monolith. But unfortunately, the waiting system he created only works with the time of day and weather system in his Complete RPG pack, which we completely replaced. Which means up until now, the waiting system from the pack was completely useless to us. Today that changed. The first thing I needed to fix was how time worked in Knightwatch. So the way time worked in our game originally was we had a float value that went from 0 to 100. If the time in our game was 0, that translated to 12 o'clock midnight. If the time in our game was 25, that would be 6 AM, 50 would be 12 at noon, 75 would be 6 PM, and so on. The way the time worked in the RPG pack was similar, except instead of going from 0 to 100, it instead went from 0 to 2400. Kind of like military time, which looking back makes a lot more sense in theory. You may be asking yourself, why wouldn't you have done it like this in the first place? Well, let me use an example to explain why I don't like this system. So let's say it's 6 AM in the game and we want to wait until 7 AM, 1 hour exactly. Well, using the Complete RPG pack system, we would wait from 600 to 700 on the float scale. Here's the problem. There are 60 minutes in an hour and 100 units between 600 and 700. Assuming I've done my math right, that means that every time 1 unit of time goes by in the code, 1.67 minutes have to pass by in the game. So, needless to say, the math here can get pretty confusing. Anyways, I had to convert the time passage for my sky, daylight, and weather system to account for this difference. After doing that, I had to rewrite a good chunk, not all thank goodness, but a good chunk, of Monolith's code to get the sky working with this wait system. And with just a touch of luck and a few more crashes, it finally worked. Well, I'm proud to announce that Knightwatch officially has a Discord server that you can join right now to share any ideas you have for the game. Things you like, things you don't like, or just hang out and chat in general. Once the demo is released, it will also serve as the main place where you can let me know about any glitches you may discover during gameplay. I'm certain there will be a lot. I'm very excited about this announcement, and a great big shout out to user Shakir for finally getting me off my butt to get the Discord server going. The link for the server will be down in the description below. This week's developer shoutout has to go out to JmannDX. I've been following his work for quite a while, and the only reason I hadn't given him a developer shoutout earlier is honestly because I thought I already did. He would have most likely been my first choice. So if you like Knightwatch, which I would assume you do if you made it this far in the video, you'll love JmannDX's current project. Like Knightwatch, it has melee, range, and magic combat, except with the interesting caveat that the game is actually a dungeon crawler. It seems to play a lot like a Souls game, and just based on his recent video, there seems to be a ton of different types of armor and weapons in the game to collect, which is awesome. To my knowledge, the dungeons in the game are procedural, which should keep gameplay pretty fresh. If you want to check out his content, or download and try his game out, you can find his channel link in the description below. Be sure to go over and show some support, and remember to click that shiny red subscribe button. And I think I've covered everything for today, hopefully I'm not missing anything. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications to stay up to date on all things Knightwatch. In the meantime, please consider joining our new Discord channel to discuss the game, or even just down below in the comments. Oh, you know what? I totally am forgetting something. I forgot to go over the new main menu. I mean, I guess I kind of showed it off in the remake of episode 7, but in case you missed it, here it is again. Alright, bye guys.